Will this be the last time we ever see Max Verstappen race in front of his home crowd? Can Lando Norris finally break his curse at Zandvoort after losing a 22.8-second lead to Max just last year? And why is the FIA making desperate changes to pit lane speeds that could completely shake up the championship battle? The answers to these questions lie in what's shaping up to be one of the most dramatic weekends of the season at Zandvoort, a race that might not even exist beyond 2026. But before we dive into the chaos that's about to unfold, the evidence suggests this weekend could be the turning point that defines the entire championship fight. Let's start with the weather forecast that has everyone at Zandvoort on edge. According to the official meteorological data, we're looking at an 80% chance of rain from Friday through Sunday, the kind of conditions that create legends or destroy championship dreams. Friday brings maximum temperatures of just 20 degrees with winds between 15-25 km/h, while Saturday drops even further to 18 degrees maximum. But here's where it gets interesting. Sunday's forecast shows winds howling at 20-30 km/h with that same 80% rain probability. In a place like Zandvoort, positioned right next to the North Sea, these aren't just numbers on a weather report. As the source material points out, the wind plays a huge factor in the car's balance, and drivers will need to tame it as much as he can. The real concern? The FIA's history with wet weather management. The source explicitly mentions the chaos they created in Belgium and references that nightmare 2021 race when the rain caused the race to not even start in the first place. With conditions this volatile, we could be looking at another weekend where the governing body's decisions become more controversial than the racing itself. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The FIA has made a crucial change that could completely alter race strategy. They've increased the pit lane speed limit from 60 km/h to 80 km/h with one specific goal: to promote two-stop strategies at a circuit notorious for single-stop dominance. According to Pirelli's official statement, this change aims to create artificial competitiveness because overtaking is notoriously difficult at Zandvoort with very few straights apart from the main one, combined with the fact the whole track is quite narrow. The tire manufacturer's simulations show that the one stop is still quickest, but this speed increase is designed to close that gap. The technical data reveals something fascinating about Zandvoort's unique challenge. While circuits like Suzuka, Lucale, Silverstone, and Spa are all harder on tires than Zandvoort, the Dutch track has the highest energy density due to its relatively short length and high number of corners, combined with the lack of straights where tires could be rested and cooled down. Now let's talk about what really matters: the championship battle that could be decided by these exact conditions. Lando Norris heads into Zandvoort carrying momentum from winning 3 of the last 4 races, narrowing the gap to just 9 points. But here's the psychological warfare at play. Last year at this very circuit, Norris dumped a 20-second lead on Verstappen in front of his home fans. According to Norris himself, he's never felt more prepared. "Nothing makes my life feel different. It's just your preparedness for this moment, for this battle. I feel now more like the most complete driver I've ever been." The British driver acknowledges that you're still racing the best drivers in the world, but you're just more prepared. The stakes couldn't be higher, especially with McLaren team principal Andrea Stella warning that Ferrari will be stealing points in the second half of the season. Stella's exact words about Ferrari's threat: "I think they are going to be a contender for victories for the remainder of the season. Definitely any time we are racing for the second part of the season, we would have to take into account that in qualifying and in the race, we would have to deal with Ferrari." While the championship battle rages at the front, there's drama brewing within Red Bull that could impact everything. Yuki Tsunoda's performance as Max's teammate has been underwhelming, scoring just 7 points while struggling to even reach Q3 in Hungary, despite being 1/10 of Max's time. The pressure is mounting with rising talents like Hajar, Lawson, Lindblad, and now Alex Palou, creating competition for seats. However, team principal Laurent Mekies remains supportive, stating, "The priority is to give Yuki what he needs to perform. With regard to the second seat, that's where the priority is." But here's the reality check. As Makis admits, we are trying to find ways together to make a further step. The question is whether those solutions will come fast enough to help Red Bull's Constructor Championship hopes. Perhaps the most significant revelation is what's happening behind the scenes regarding Zandvoort's future. This could be one of the last times we're going to see racing in the Netherlands because of the financial burden that it became to the government and the organizers. The race officials have denied the offer of having to rotate around with other races, and while Zandvoort is confirmed for 2026, it's highly unlikely that they are going to organize F1 events beyond that year. The alternative? NASCAR and IndyCar showing some interest in taking over this circuit. Consider what this means for Verstappen, who has racked up 4 podiums at his home race since its 2021 return, 3 of which were race wins. Losing this track from the calendar wouldn't be neutral for the Dutch champion. It would eliminate one of his strongest psychological advantages. There's also the off-track complications to consider. Teams like Stake are forced to replace Stake branding for Dutch viewers with the streaming platform Kick, due to the Netherlands government's prohibition on betting company promotion. The same restrictions affecting circuits like Belgium, Spain, Australia, and Qatar. So here we are, potentially witnessing the beginning of the end for one of Formula One's most atmospheric venues, while simultaneously watching what could be the championship's turning point. The combination of extreme weather conditions, technical regulation changes, and the emotional weight of a possible farewell creates a perfect storm of unpredictability. Will Norris finally overcome his Zandvoort demons and take the championship lead on Dutch soil? Can Verstappen use the emotional energy of potentially his final home race to extend his points advantage? And most importantly, will the FIA's weather management decisions allow us to see a proper race? Or will we get another Belgium-style controversy? The evidence points to a weekend where driver skill will matter more than ever, where strategic gambles could pay off bigger than usual, and where the championship momentum could shift dramatically. With Ferrari lurking as the wild card and Red Bull's internal pressures mounting, every point scored this weekend carries extra weight. What's certain is that Zandvoort 2025 will be remembered, whether as the race that defined the championship or as the chaotic end to one of F1's most beloved modern venues. The Orange Army will be there regardless of the weather, but the question remains, will their hero deliver when it matters most, possibly for the final time on home soil?